healthy habits is what helps us show up in a bigger way for the things that we love. And that's unique to you and me, but it helps you feel better. So you choose better, you do better, and you become better and you feel better.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Welcome to the show, friend. My new best friend, Elizabeth, is with us today. And we are going to talk about healthy habits. I know, rag, be healthy, take care of yourself, and don't do anything else. No, that's not our story. Our story is, how do we make ourselves or these routines fit into already super busy schedule? I mean, we go and something comes up and we have to give up to the gym. But what are those healthy habits that we can implement into our busy schedule and keep us going and really find that best life inside of us? So before we get started, we're going to get a quick word from our sponsor. When we come back, we're going to talk about creating healthy habits that fit in our busy lives. So we'll be right back.
This is Adam Adams, co-founder of Optimized LLC, where we take the guesswork out of your health. If you're feeling exhausted, struggling with weight, or just not feeling yourself anymore, your hormones might be the problem. And that's why we test, not guess, analyzing your blood work to pinpoint exactly what's holding you back. At Optimized LLC, we help you rebalance your hormones, boost energy, and reclaim your life. Don't settle for normal, aim for optimized. Just go to optimize.com to book your free introductory coaching call. It's a free call to help you take the first step toward feeling your best.
All right, Elizabeth, the information about you is in the show notes. So I get so busy. Sometimes I don't realize I'm going to be gone and I'm starving to death. And of course, McDonald's is right there. So I swing through, grab something, and I feel better. But it was a temporary feel better. And it's not really supporting my long-term life. So how do I implement habits that are going to exist and be able to be followed in my busy life and to be good for me? I know that's a lot, but I'm pretty sure you can help me with it. So how can I be healthy and busy?
Yeah, I'd love to have this conversation. And it really starts with identity. A lot of our choices are a result of our beliefs and our actions. So if you believe that you are a woman who grabs and goes, right, or an emotional eater, or you just have some experience with that, then that's the choices that you make. And so one of the things that I love to start with is identify yourself as a woman of wellness and what that means. What kind of choices might she make? And what does that feel inside when we connect with that identity? That's really the first step in order to help us make those choices of, I'm actually going to go home today and cook dinner. I have some things ready, or maybe I'll go to the grocery store instead of swinging by the fast food, because I have stepped into this identity of this woman that wants to take care of her body, and it feels good too.
Okay, so I want to, but I don't. So how do I move from want to action? So I can say, I choose to be healthy. I choose to make healthy choices. I choose to blah, blah, blah. But if I don't make that choice at the moment, or that moment of weakness, or like, I am so hungry, I just got to do this now. What is the options? For the longest time, and this is when I thought granola bars were healthy, I kept extra granola bars in the car because you could get that hunger, or the kids could be loud and, I'm hungry, mom. Okay. You throw them a granola bar. So it was something that I was able to do. Now I know there's so much sugar in them that I choose not to eat granola bars. But what is something that we could do? And let's start with hunger. It might be an emotion. I have a really weird emotion. Hunger is a procrastination tool for me. The funniest thing is like, I really don't feel like doing this task. I'll go eat breakfast. And then what do? I eat it as fast as possible so I could do my damn task. And it's like, so I got two bad things. Now I'm not mindfully eating and, so just pile on the crap. So how can I step back and change that?
Yeah. So it begins with that kind of connecting with, hey, this is who I want to be. These are the choices I want to make. And then you start to fit a plan into your lifestyle. We are fed the idea that we're supposed to do X, Y, Z, ABC, right? All of these things. And it can feel really overwhelming. And that's probably what you're feeling a little bit like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And I just want you to start with one thing. What is one thing that would support your health today? And how can you implement it into your schedule? So maybe if you struggle a lot with grabbing and going on the way home, I make sure that I meal plan on Sunday nights so that I know when I get home, I have something ready. Or you kind of mentioned like the eating for procrastination, right? Maybe it's something as simple as soon as I get dressed, I go eat breakfast. So I've created kind of a habit stack where I say, I'm doing this one thing, then I'm going to eat breakfast mindfully, and then I'm going to work on my project. So it's a habit rather than a response to an emotion. See the difference there?
Hmm. Yeah. So every morning I just get up before I even start my tasks. Then I'm not going to have that hungry, nagging feeling. So I might still have that I want to procrastinate feeling, but I could replace it with I have already eaten. If I need to delay this task, I can find something else to fill it with.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Lots of ideas.
Yeah. And that's a really simple strategy that you can implement for any habit that you want to add to your life. So, is there something that you're already doing that you could just add the habit on? For example, maybe after you eat your dinner, you put your shoes on and go for a 10-minute walk outside. Maybe you're trying to create more steps in your day and you have a trigger that as soon as you put your dishes in the sink or you finish cleaning the kitchen, you just know your next step is to go grab your shoes by the front door and go for, you can say, my goal is 10 minutes. And if I go more, great, but I know that I can get that much.
At one time when I was at my unhealthiest, I thought about if I just walk as far as I can until I can't go any further, I'm going to have to get back. And so it's going to force me to go more than I physically think I can. Um, didn't ever work. I never went that far. I always turned around before, but it was the thought process. I'm going to walk as far as I can. And if it takes three times as long to get back, that's okay. And so what is it that you're going to do? When you have a puppy or a dog, it's so much easier to have that routine because the dog's going to remind you it's time to go for a walk.
You could get a dog. That could be part of your strategy too.
Time to go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I can come up with, kind of a schedule. I try to do intermittent eating or fasting. I call it eating because I eat between noon and 8.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I don't get it in by noon, I don't extend the end date. So it's just, this is my window and I do what I want in it. It's picking that. It's if you know ahead of time, oh, it's not noon yet, I don't eat. Then you're going to wait. If you want to eat breakfast every day, fine. It's what is it that's your routine? So help us build a healthy routine of maybe I want to do meditation every day because I need to be more mindful, but it takes so long. How can I do that without worrying about the time? When can I look at the benefit?
Yeah. So I like to call this the sweet spot of habits,
Ooh,
where habits and a healthy lifestyle pay off in the long run. They have long term benefits. But preventing heart disease 10 years down the road doesn't really get you to get up out of bed in the morning today, always. And so you also want to make sure that what you do is enjoyable. There's a reward in the moment where it's like, okay, this makes me feel good. So, strategy wise, the first thing to do is to choose what you want to implement, right? Are you looking to move your body more? Do you want more movement? Are you looking to eat healthier? Do you want to plan your meals a little bit better or eat more fruits and vegetables? Do you want to have a practice of meditation because you're highly stressed, right? Ask yourself what you want. And then here's what it sounds simple, but it's really the secret is look at your schedule and find places where it can naturally fit in. It's like making a doctor's appointment, right? Most of us don't no-show the doctor. You get charged if you do usually, but um, you really would set an appointment with the doctor and then you make it work because it's important to you to maybe go get things checked. And it's the same thing here. It's okay, there's some things that I want to do and they are on top of things that I already am doing, right? It is an addition, but it's a good addition. And it's something that's going to support me to show up better, right? Better for my job, better for my life, for my family. And so I want to find a place where it fits. So I'm going to make an appointment with myself. I'm going to write down on my schedule after dinner walk or midday meditation, maybe on my lunch break. I take 10 minutes to just breathe. And that's really helpful for me to then go into my meetings later on and feel rejuvenated, feel more focused. So the sweet spot there is that it feels good in the moment, right? To be able to do some meditation to relax. And it also feels good in the future because you are able to show up better and you're able to do your job better and all of that. And so if we can find those things that we want to do and find that sweet spot and schedule them in. This is where I'm going to do it. And I kind of mentioned this before, but if you can find a way to habit stack, meaning if you've already got something going on in your calendar or in your schedule that's a pretty consistent thing, then it's actually a lot easier to add a new habit in when you pair it with something that you're already doing.
okay. So here's an example of something like that I know. I had a friend who did dance and she had really weak ankles. And so she chose that while she's brushing her teeth, there's 2 minutes. She's going to stand on one leg for 1 minute and then the other for the next minute. And just doing that core stabilization movement while she's brushing her teeth strengthens your ankles. So, this is a way she did it outside of all the other exercise stuff she's doing because she's already dancing 2-3 hours a day. She's already doing stuff, but she was able to add just 2 minutes that focused on that very specific point. How else could we stack things into our routine?
I love that. You found something that we call an anchor habit. So that's something she's already doing every day. It's not something she really chooses to do, right? I mean, it becomes
It's not
automatic.
conscious. You just do it. This is the
Yeah.
part of my routine to get dressed. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the goal for all of our habits, or at least most of them, is that they become a little more routine. So I actually have a similar story. A client of mine, she does her squats after she uses the restroom. So it's not always the same time or anything like that, but she'll just like, okay, I know that I just do 10 squats after. And so that's a really great way too. And what it is there also is it's consciousness of taking care of your body. you're becoming more aware. And so you might find more opportunities to support your body in things that aren't necessarily on the schedule. And so I think that's probably a good next step is once you've kind of found some of these anchor habits that you can add some very specific habits in, like going on a walk or doing a stretch or something after. So, like, on my lunch break, before I eat lunch, I go on a walk, or after I eat lunch, I go on a walk for 10 minutes. It that Those are some of those anchor habits that we can stack on. Then from there, it really becomes part of that identity, part of who you are. And you look for ways to support your body without the expectation of structure or
Mhm.
routine, right? Because that's when health shifts away from to do items and toward enjoyment, the enjoyment of wellness. So you may say, oh, it's nice outside. I might go outside and garden or move my body a little bit more. And it's not because it's on your schedule and you have to do it or don't have to do it. It's because I feel good. I'm taking care of my body and I want to do more of these things. Or, I want to add more veggies into my dinner. And so I'm just kind of working on that without feeling like every single thing has to be a check off the box thing.
One of the things, like I would say the last 3 or 4 places that I've worked had walking clubs. And just somebody decided that, hey, every day at 1 o'clock, I'm going to go for a walk. You want to join? Come along.
Yeah.
And they'd wait a couple minutes and people who showed up went on the walk. And if you don't want to the one thing nice about that is you don't have to do it alone. You'll have conversation. But the nicer part is somebody else is helping you stay on schedule. It's like, oh, I know George is going to be out there, so I better get out there. I got to run because it's walking time. Even if you do it before or after work, if you're worried about cutting into meetings or cutting into work time, and it's like after work, let's go for a walk. It's fun. And then that helps add a trigger to go because somebody else is involved too.
Yeah. Having accountability is helpful. And that's where it's helpful to put yourself, if possible, in a culture of health, right? Whether it's at work, you find those people that's a value for them. And so you join them in that. And that's helpful too, because sometimes they're a little bit stronger in that area, right? Make sure you would kind of attach yourself to someone that might have a little bit more I don't know, motivation is not the right word, but maybe more consistency or have been doing it longer or have more skills. And so they help you keep going. And then the other thing you can do is start creating a culture of health in your home with anyone that might be willing, right? Maybe a spouse might be willing to go on that walk with you or might be willing to try some new foods, or your kids would love for you to throw a ball around with them outside. And if you start creating that culture that, hey, this is kind of who we are, then those habits just become, they're fun, they're memories.
They say that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Sounds like if you're not the strongest person in the room, like if you are the strongest person in the room, you're in the wrong room because you need that other person to motivate. But I find that the person doesn't need to be better at it than me. They have to be a willing participant.
Yeah.
You know, if even if they're worse, it's getting me out. It's
Yeah.
getting me that accountability that I'm moving forward. I'm just trying to think of everybody I've ever exercised was healthier than I was. So that one was a no brainer. But there are lots of people who are the healthiest person. So maybe you're just motivating. Maybe you just really need to get out and drag 10 more people along with you.
Yeah. Create that commitment together.
Yeah. I like that. The commitment. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
So, as we're building these healthy habits, what are some that you think are, I mean, like I'm thinking exercise. Everybody knows exercise is a healthy habit. We know water is a healthy habit. What else is a healthy habit that we should look into incorporating into our day?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, There are a couple things that I would say. So with exercise, I want to go a little specific on exercise. If there is a way that you can do some strength exercise, that would be really good, especially for aging bodies, hormone shifting. If we can get some load on our bodies, that is so, so powerful for an aging body. So I guess include that in your exercise. And then you mentioned eating better, or, well, actually, you mentioned water, right? And then, so I would say the next thing is just with nutrition, asking yourself, instead of saying restriction or trying to eliminate things, what can I add with nutrition? What can I add that would help me more? So that would be one great habit is, could I add a vegetable here? Could I add a protein here or something? Or could this be higher in fiber? How can I improve that? So that's one that I would say. And then I just thought of one that when you asked that, it just came immediately to me. Create a habit of being kind to yourself and speaking kindly to yourself and say, I am trying and I am working hard, and celebrating you more often. Women struggle with that. And I think that should be a really powerful habit to see your own strength from within.
I really like that. It's you get to choose, you get to be you, and it's okay. Oh, I didn't do my walk today. It's okay. You can do it tonight. You can do it tomorrow, but you remembered it. That is progress. If you just like wake up the next day and go, oh, I forgot my walk yesterday, you're still remembering, but it's a little bit later. So be so excited that you remembered and just, like, oh, I forgot to walk yesterday. Today I'm going to remember to walk. Just know that it's okay, however you do it. When my husband and I became empty nesters, all of a sudden we started eating in front of the TV. And it's funny how much hungry you're like, TV was time to eat. And if you watch TV for 2 hours, that's a lot of eating. So it's like recently, say maybe 6 months, it's like we will eat at the table. This
Yeah.
is our healthy habit. We're going to communicate. So it's not only helping my body, it's helping our relationship because we're not just watching TV tell us things, we're interacting with one another. And so that's a healthy habit that I put back in my plate because I'd gotten out, in my life, because I'd gotten out of the habit of doing it. It's like, why sit at the table? We can do this other thing. Well, because I miss you. I want to
Yeah.
talk to you. What is your reason? And embrace it.
Yeah. And that kind of goes along too with, how do we shift some of those unhealthy habits that we have, right? That addition to this conversation is, let's implement some habits. Are there habits that are detracting? For example, are we turning on the TV when we're eating? Or I used to have a big struggle with every night when I got home after dinner, I would need a treat. Like I just wanted a treat because I made it through the day. And so I had a pretty strong habit that I had a nighttime treat. And, that's also an important thing to look at is, how can I shift this habit so that I'm not doing it as well? We want to implement habits, but we also want to look at, is there a way I can make this less desirable so I don't want to do it, right? Can I make it less obvious? Maybe I don't have treats sitting on my counter or whatever. And so looking for ways to also maybe remove some of those habits that aren't healthy and turning them into a healthier habit. Like you mentioned, watching TV with food wasn't serving you, but sitting at the table and having a conversation was deeper, right? It was that connection and it created a connection for you.
The funny thing, not that it's all about me, but the times at the table have consistently gotten longer.
Yeah.
Where initially it was a couple words and hurry and eat and go watch our shows. It's like we both started enjoying just chatting to
Yeah.
the point where I have to say, my butt's starting to hurt. Let's change chairs.
I love that.
So it's like, okay, what now? So it is just, what is that one thing you can figure out in your daily routine that you could modify,
Yeah, I love
and
that
and
word.
still maybe I'm getting less of it or more of it or adding, we're just modifying life. It's not good or bad. It's just what can be different and how do I want to use it? And so I liked the mindfulness that you brought up, making sure that we paying attention, that self-reflection. And really, this is further back in the conversation. You talked about, do you just want to move more? And I thought, there was a time in my life I could not walk 10 feet without just being totally exhausted from heart issues. And part of my recovery has just been the move more. You know,
Yeah.
I can now do this. I can now get all the way around the block. I can now, it's like little bits at a time and moving forward. And so identify that thing because we're all going to have a different one. What are
Yeah.
some of the things that we can look at our food? We can look at our movement. We can look at our thoughts. And my favorite is to start with the thoughts because if I've gone on a eating plan, and that eating plan does not include donuts, and donuts are at the office. And I say, I can't have that. I've now felt restricted.
Yeah.
If I say, I'm choosing not to eat that, then that restriction goes away. You now have told yourself it's a choice. So it's a stupid word. I can't have that. I choose not to have that. And those are the kind of thoughts, to me, as I change those, it frees up, it makes me feel less guilty. I have a sister in law that calls it reward day instead of cheat day. No, I don't have a cheat day. I have a reward day. I've been good. I've done my exercise. I've eaten healthy. We're going out to dinner and I'm not restricting myself, and what it, for her, that's a healthy way to look at it. And you can look at it that way too. Some people want to keep it as a cheat day because it's things that they don't want to reward themselves with. Like I don't want to choose something unhealthy as a reward. So we all have a different. If it works better as a cheat day, fine. But if it makes you feel better that you're rewarding yourself, do that.
Yeah. And, as you've been talking, it's about that mindset shift from kind of rebelling, right? I can't have that, so I'm going to rebel and eat it. We have our brains are like wired to rebel against that. And the same thing with quote a cheat day is that it's not so much that we're using it to rebel, um, because within a cheat day or an enjoyment day or a treat day, um, we still want to honor our body. It's not about, I think about a pendulum or a swing, for example. If you pull a swing back really, really far, how far is it going to go in the other direction? It's going to go pretty far in the other direction, right? And so if we are restricting a lot, pulling that swing back, as soon as we essentially let loose or find ourselves free, we let that swing go and we overeat. But if you can find that balance, if you can find the balance of, I'm choosing this and I do want to, I do want to be healthy. And so I am making these choices. And I'm also not restricting myself in extreme ways, then I'm way less likely to indulge in extreme ways.
It really is like that where when you get in that perfect balance, you ever watch people stack rocks that are really good at balance? You go, how in the world did you do that? Like, how do you know that putting it at that angle, it would actually stay up? I still don't get it, but it works. Um, I don't have that kind of balance in my personal life, and some people do. And so I put more effort into staying balanced. It's the person who's on the tightrope and they're like But once you get it, once you're in there and you're balanced and you're not fighting it, it's less effort. So it's training yourself and allowing yourself that wiggle, allowing yourself that, oh, I just stepped off to the right a little bit today. I'll step back. You know, it allow yourself the wiggle because you're going to get there and you're going to be strong. It's like being a beginner. It's okay.
Yeah. And don't set an expectation of perfection on yourself. Recognize that it will be, you will learn. Where my phrase I love to have, I would suggest that you repeat is I'm either winning or I'm learning. I'm winning at the behaviors or I'm learning some things that I can do to improve.
And I love that life's a lesson. For me, it's beautiful to know that I'm not stuck in where I'm at right now, that I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, I'm going to progress. But sometimes when you hear that, some people get that trigger of, I didn't get 100% on my test and I got in trouble. And learning is passing it by like being perfect. And I want to give you the okay that we're growing. So you get 50% on this fake test that we're taking. That's okay. Because tomorrow you might get 51 or 50 and a half. And if the next day your brain is crazy and full of stress and you get 48, that's okay. We're growing, we're changing, but we also have to be okay with where we're at, or the stress of trying to change is going to be too much. It's that mindset. What's going to keep you going? And how can I think of this to keep going?
I love that.
Let's talk a little bit about you. What do you do? What gives you this passion? Why do you want to share your voice with the world about healthy choices?
Oh, that's such a good question because it helps me show up the way I want to show up. I have 3 little kids and I need energy for them. And I run my own business and I need energy for that. And I have a spouse and I need energy to nourish that relationship. And I have friends and have a lot of things I'm involved in. And when I feel better, I show up better. And we know this, right? When you feel crummy, it's hard to show up very well when you just don't feel good. And so healthy habits is what helps us show up in a bigger way for the things that we love. And that's unique to you and me. But it helps you feel better. So you choose better, you do better, and you become better and you feel better.
So, what do you do? And how can our friends get a hold of you?
Yeah. So I help a lot with the shifting of the mindset toward healthy habits, right? And how do we create behaviors that last a long time? How do we change our relationship with food and improve that relationship so that you can then feel confident with food, feel confident with your habits, feel confident in your body? That's all my coaching is. That's what I have. And so I'm everywhere at A Woman of Wellness. So that's pretty easy to find. But the thing that I enjoy the most, I have a membership club for women that want to create sustainable, healthy habits and have a community of support. We talked about accountability. So that's also a really great place if you're looking to improve your habits.
So this group, is it a virtual?
Yeah.
Okay. How fun. And the information about the group and everything that you've provided that you wanted to share is in the show notes already. So, what should we do this week? What's that one thing to give a try to that will help our friend experiment with healthy habits?
Start with movement. I always say movement just makes us feel better. And so if you're not consistent with movement, pick something small, maybe 10 minutes. Metabolically, 3 10-minute bouts of movement is equal to 30 minutes in one sitting. So you could do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes at night, or you could just do 10 minutes, meet yourself where you are, and start with movement, because if you want to feel better, movement is the medicine. It's the nourishment that your body needs to build that momentum to make even better choices.
I like that. And and it could be 10 minutes or it could be 2 more steps than yesterday. We all have a watch or a phone that thinks it knows how much we walked. It could just be as much as tricking it into more. Just dial that up constantly. Eventually, you'll be walking a mile or more. So it is find that thing that you can easily move more from. Had one person that says if all you can do is get all the way down on the floor, head and heels and everything, where you're flat on the floor and get back up, do that once a day. Because the movement and the muscles that you have to engage to get back up are quite a few of them. You're utilizing a lot of muscles in this. So if it's all you can do, so I should start this, like my minimum exercise to lay down on the floor and get back up.
Yeah, that's good because that's what you want to be able to do, right? I always suggest train for life. If you want to be able to lift something on a high shelf, you probably should practice that, right?
If you want to run away from a bear, you better start practicing that.
Yeah, but also we hope that never happens, right?
Right, but it's what do we want to do tomorrow? What do we not want to lose? Or what have I already lost and I need to gain back?
Yes.
Um, I don't want to lose my eyesight. I already have to wear glasses. So I make sure I go get my checkups. That's silly. It's nothing else I can do. There's eye exercises, there's pills, but you don't want to lose this. So what do you do to keep it?
Yeah.
You wear safety glasses when you're doing something. So, what is it about the rest of our body that you don't want to lose that you can do something about? And so,
Yeah.
pick it and give it a try. Just one thing that you can increase or decrease. If I'm decreasing the amount of whatever, you can do that too. It doesn't have to be increasing only. And
Yes.
sometimes you can do two. I can decrease the amount of coffee and increase the amount of water.
Perfect. That's a good strategy right there for sure.
Like, instead of my first cup of coffee, I'm going to drink a thing of water. And then if I still need it, let's go for it. So pick your strategy. I love it.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining me today. Friend Elizabeth and I are not medical or mental licensed professionals. We're here for entertainment. Please follow your doctor's advice and stay tuned for the next episode.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss the next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.